Today, we're going to do two rounds of quick recall to practice. We're going to do one set of 30 questions and another set of 30 questions. I'll be reading quick recall questions. If you would like to pause or rewind and go back and listen to the question again, then you are good to do so. Let's go ahead and begin with question one. This entity is usually used to explain and predict the behavior of real objects or phenomena. An example of this entity is when a teacher uses balls of various sizes to represent the solar system. What term refers to something that represents something else in the real world? Question number two. This element of a story is the reason that plot progresses. All examples fall into two categories: internal and external. What is this element that might pit a character against himself, nature, or another character? Question three. This art element can be analogous, tertiary, or complementary. Some people consider value, in addition to intensity and hue, a subset of this element. What is this element that might also be secondary or primary? In geographic terms, a land bridge is usually an example of this type of landform, which are often used as the location of canals, as is the case with the Panama Canal. Give the name for a narrow stretch of land which extends across water to connect two larger pieces of land. Question 5. 70% of Jacob's 10 cards are red. Two of Pedro's 10 cards are red. If Jacob and Pedro combine their cards, then what percentage of their cards are red? Number 6. This art form is related to assemblage, decoupage, and photomontage. Most art scholars credit Cubist Georges Braque and Pablo Picasso with inventing it in the early 20th century. Identify this art form that affixes unrelated items, such as newspaper clippings and scraps of paper, to a two-dimensional surface. Number 7. This word's prefix is Greek for below. Its root names the main argument of an essay or other composition. What is this word for the so-called educated guess that a scientific experiment tests? Number 8. Sir Isaac Newton made a reflecting one of these in 1668. Galileo actually did not invent this instrument, but he did use one to discover Ganymede, Europa, Callisto, and Io. What instrument can be used to observe the rings of Saturn from Earth's surface? Number 9. The result of this agricultural method is a type of field called a swidden that may be fertilized by the ash that remains once this process is completed. Name the method of cultivation which involves cutting down forests and setting fire to the downed plants in order to clear land for livestock and planting. Number 10. A standard deck of cards has 4 suits with 13 cards each. The spades and clubs are all black, while the hearts and diamonds are all red. What is the ratio of spades to red cards in a standard deck of cards? Number 11. Cartographers often include this feature on a map in the form of a chart or table, which allows readers to understand important information about the map. Name this map feature which defines the map's symbols. 12. Triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. Side AB equals 2 units, side BC equals 6 units, and side DE equals 5 units. In units, what is the measure of side EF? Number 13. This Greek root can mean either aim or to look at. What is this root that can follow tele and micro? Number 14. This painter spent most of his final 12 years on islands in the southern Pacific Ocean. Primitive art inspired his dive into symbolism, which produced works like Vision After the Sermon and The spirit of the dead keeps watch. Name the artist of Two Tahitian Women. Number 15. All particles above absolute zero will have this property. For a falling object, this increases as the potential energy decreases. What is this energy of motion? Number 16. Roberta analyzes the positive composite numbers that are less than 100. She first finds the least composite number in her range, and then she finds the largest composite number in her range. What is the result when she adds these two composite numbers? Number 17. This force tends to be greater with objects that have rough surfaces. This force often creates heat when two objects rub together. What is this force that opposes movement in a direction? Number 18. Italian name, please. This bit of musical notation has a name meaning stop or pause. It means a musician should hold a note, rest, or chord longer than the note's indicated value. Name this arch and dot combination, sometimes called a bird's eye. Number 19. Once used to manufacture keys for pianos, this material has been targeted for illegal trade and export from the African continent for centuries. Name this material often sourced from the tusks of such animals as the walrus and most notably the elephant. Question 20. This Greek root follows klepto in the name of a disorder characterized by an impulse to steal. Name this root alternately meaning abnormal, frenzy, and madness. 21. The point, parentheses, -11, comma, 10, close parentheses, is located on the Cartesian coordinate plane. In what quadrant does this point lie? 22. Although this instrument's orchestral model has metal resonators, its African varieties usually have tuned calabash resonators. Up to 4 musicians may play one instrument, which can have a 6.5 octave range. Name this Central American cousin of the xylophone. 23. This theme of geography is typically broken down into two subcategories, relative and absolute. Name the theme of geography which deals with where a given place is found on Earth. 24. Launched in 2020, this NASA robot is the most recent device to study its target planet. The goals of this robotic rover include taking samples of soil and testing for evidence of past or current life on Mars. What Mars rover is equipped with the Ingenuity mini helicopter. 25. Identify the antecedent of the pronoun in the following sentence. The group of students presented its findings to the class. 26. In a free market, the relationship of these two variables determine a product's price. What are these two economic factors which respectively refer to the amount of a product currently available and the amount of the product currently desired by the market? 27. Be specific. Which math property is illustrated by the following? 22 plus 0 equals 22. 28. Identify the type of grammatical error found in the following sentence. Shoes of all brands and styles scattered everywhere. 29. Movements in this category include skipping, hopping, and galloping. Rolling, sliding, and leaping are further examples. Give the term for movements that transport a body from one place to another. And 30. This constellation is best seen during the winter months in the northern hemisphere, and the constellation Taurus is its neighbor to the northwest. This constellation possesses the stars Rigel and Betelgeuse. Name this constellation that is famous for its belt of three stars, named after a Greek hunter. And that's going to be our timeout here at around 10 minutes. That was 30 questions. Sixth grade showcase rounds have 30 questions. Governor's Cup rounds have around 40. All right, let's go ahead and resume with round 2. Question 1. Movements of this type include the shuffle, jump, slide, and hop. What is the term for a movement that propels a person forward, backwards, or to the side? Question 2. A Super Bowl champion in 2020 and 2023, his total of 1,416 receiving yards in 2020 is a season record among all tight ends. Name this multi-time NFL Pro Bowler who experienced a huge surge in popularity while drawing massive television ratings during the 2023 NFL season due to his public romance with pop star Taylor Swift. Number 3. This woman used the title Rose in Bloom for her sequel to Eight Cousins. Later, she wrote Joe's Boys as the third novel in a trilogy. Name the author of Little Men. Number 4. A set contains all the boys who attend school in Kentucky. Set B contains all the students in Kentucky who are left-handed. What would be the intersection of sets A and B? Number 5. This subatomic particle was first discovered by J.J. Thomson using cathode rays. Their configurations on orbitals determine the stability of an atom. What are these particles that, paired with protons, will make an ion become a neutral atom? Number 6. This novel's settings include the Sutherland Plantation and the Great Dismal Swamp. After Homer and Ada escape slavery, they try to liberate their mother. What is this recent Newbery Medal winner by Amina Lukman Dawson? Number 7. Mount Elbert is the highest point in this mountain range, which extends from northern New Mexico into the Canadian province of British Columbia. Identify the largest of North America's major mountain ranges. Number 8. A sequence contains the following numbers: 5, 8, 11, 14, and so on. If this sequence continues, the 30th number in the sequence is 92. What is the common difference for this sequence? Number 9. This force allows you to write on a piece of paper and can be reduced through the use of ball bearings or lubricants such as oil. It can be described as static, sliding, rolling, or fluid. What force describes air resistance or rubbing your hands together? Number 10. This musical technique is either discrete or continuous, depending on the instrument being played. Xylophones, trombones, pianos, and many string instruments can all perform it. Give the Italian word for this gliding between pitches. 11. In 3 of his prints, this artist explored the active, contemplative, and intellectual lives respectively. In his later years, he wrote 4 books on human proportion and 4 books on measurement. Name this Northern Renaissance artist of Rhinoceros and Praying Hands. Number 12. Among this novel's competitors are Judge J.J. Ford, the Who's, and the Wexlers. Turtle Wexler wins the prize money by deducing that Sandy McSuthers, Julian Eastman, and Barney Northrop are aliases for the title man. Give the name of this Newbery-winning novel by Ellen Raskin. Number 13. The main tributary of the Dead Sea is this river, which passes through the Sea of Galilee along its path. The Palestinian territory known as the West Bank is so named due to its relation to this river. What is this river which, according to the biblical New Testament, was the site of Jesus Christ's baptism? 14. An absolute value function has the equation y equals the absolute value of the quantity x plus 3 closed quantity minus 8. What is the ordered pair for the vertex for this absolute value graph? Number 15. This type of energy can be chemical or nuclear, but the two main classifications are gravitational and elastic. It is dependent on a system of components and not an individual body or particle. What is the energy stored in an object because of its position called? Number 16. Cindy Lou made her little brother a triple scoop of ice cream that is 20 centimeters tall. It melts by 25% each minute. If it takes her 2 minutes to get the ice cream to her brother, then what is the new height in centimeters of the remaining ice cream? Number 17. A canal is a man-made form of this type of waterway, defined as a wide strait lying between two land masses of close proximity. Name this type of water body, an example of which may be found between northern France and southern England. Number 18. The first novel in this series sees wealthy James Henry Alden find his 4 orphaned grandchildren. For a time, those 4 siblings, Henry, James, Jesse, Violet, and Benny, live with their dog Watch in part of an abandoned train. Identify the series originally written by Gertrude Chandler Warner. Number 19. This man specialized in celebrity portraits, including 8 Elvises and 10 Lizes. He called his studio The Factory and once quipped, "Art is what you can get away with." Identify the pop artist of green Coca-Cola bottles. 20. This type of technology uses infrared light and reflection to transmit information all over the world. It uses total internal reflection to keep the wavelength of light within the core of the medium. What is this technology that uses thin, hair-like glass to transmit data, sound, and images? 21. A 2-liter bottle contains 5.1 deciliters of water. In deciliters, how much more water is needed to fill the container? 22. The collection of 282 rules which form this ancient text were rediscovered in 1901, inscribed onto a more than 7 feet long black stone pillar. Give the name for this legal text proclaimed by and named for a Babylonian king. 23. This novel's setting is Delaware's Park Middle School in January of 1986. Science teacher Miss Salonga urges Cash, Fitch, and Bird Nelson Thomas to take an interest in the Challenger mission, but then the shuttle explodes. What is this Newbery Honor book by Aaron Entrada Kelly? 24. This co-founder of Group F64 and the publication Aperture commemorated American landscapes in black and white. In 1941, the U.S. Department of the Interior commissioned him to capture the national parks. Name this environmentalist who helped elevate photography to a serious art form. 25. In all life, this is the smallest structural and functional unit of an organism. As a typically microscopic unit, it is either prokaryotic or eukaryotic. What is the smallest basic unit of life that is responsible for all of life's processes? 26. Most plants and many animals will go through this process when under stressful conditions and life is tenuous. It can occur during prolonged conditions such as cold in winter, extremely hot temperatures, or when there is insufficient moisture during dry seasons or droughts. What is this condition called when plants and animals enter a reduced state of activity as the result of environmental stress. 27. In this illustrated memoir, its subject trains under Japanese cartoonist Noro Shinpai. Its author also earned a Caldecott Medal for Grandfather's Journey. Give the title of this Sibert Honor book by Alan Say. 28. This man designed the houses on Downing Street, including the future residence of the British Prime Minister. He also drew up plans for St. Paul's Cathedral. Identify this English Baroque architect of the theatre Royal Drury Lane. 29. By conquering lands in Elam, Anatolia, and Syria, this man expanded one of the world's first empires far beyond his capital at Akkad. Give the name of the ruler recognized as the founder of the Akkadian Empire. And number 30. Two parallel lines are cut by a transversal so that angles 2 and 6 are corresponding angles. If angle 2 measures parentheses 9x plus 4 close parentheses degrees, and angle 6 measures parentheses 7x plus 30 close parentheses degrees, then what is the measure in degrees of angle 6? And that concludes round 2 of questions. Thanks for playing along.